Okay, so this one is titled, Am I the asshole for throwing away the elf on the shelf and, quote, ruining Christmas for my kids after my husband's prank? For context, this year was the first time we would try the elf on the shelf with our kids. We have 3 kids, Lucas, 9 male, Andy, 8 male, and Claire, 5 female. Where Lucas and Andy are from our past relationships. However, Miles, my husband, male 37, has accepted Andy as his, and so did I, female 38, with Lucas. Every Christmas is special for Andy. His birthday is on December 24th. His dad started a tradition where Santa considered him special for being a kid of Christmas, so he feels magical and special. I always try to give him that. Last year, I left Santa Claus footsteps, ate a carrot and grass he left for Rudolph, stuff like that. My husband doesn't think it's a good idea I do all of that for him, as I'm showing favoritism. So we should shut it down because of my ex's decision to create a tradition without considering my other kids' feelings. I disagree, since I do consider the 3 of them. But he asked if we could do something else, like the elf on the shelf. I had no problem with it, but I didn't know how that works. He explained to me quickly, and since he was the one who offered, I let him do it. We bought the cute elf. My kids named it Bob. Later, my husband explained to them that they should behave and never touch or hold Bob if they don't want to be naughty. At first, it was cute to see them spy on Bob and try to see it fly each night. Andy was the most excited of all. I found him one night talking with it, asking if Santa still remembered him. But my husband took seriously the, quote, behave or Bob would be naughty part. Lucas was his first victim after he didn't do his chores. The next day, his face was drawn on with Sharpie markers. Then Claire, who's 5, who touched Bob, had her favorite onesie destroyed. Apparently, Bob had cut some pieces of it while she was sleeping.
Oh, no.
Miles was having fun, but I could see my kids weren't. I talked to him about how he should lower the pranks. He agreed, but wanted to catch Andy since he hadn't broken any of the rules yet. I told him that Bob's supposed to tell Santa instead of being naughty. We argued, but he finally agreed. Fast forward. It's Christmas Eve, and in the afternoon, we had some of Andy's friends over to celebrate his birthday. So the kids were playing in the backyard. But my husband looked sus. I decided to look for Bob. It was supposed to be in the kitchen, but it wasn't there. I asked my husband, Miles, where it was, and he told me, quote, no idea. I started getting paranoid, but Andy asked me if we could cut the cake already. I put my best face on and went for it. The cake was in a box, and when Andy opened the box, he started crying. I took a look, and it's ruined. Bob was covered in all of it, appearing as if he had been eating the cake. Half of the cake wasn't even there anymore. Miles started laughing, and so did some of the other parents. My blood is boiling, and I grab Bob and throw it in the trash. Then I grabbed Miles. We had a terrible argument. He called me an asshole for what I did to Bob, that I've ruined it. How are we supposed to keep the magic with our kids if I wasn't supposed to even touch Bob? Am I the asshole?
No.
No.
What? Come on. Lady, your husband has got to be the most immature person
What a jerk.
I have ever heard of. Like,
He's unhinged.
unhinged, yeah, for
These
sure.
kids are young.
The youngest is 5.
And cutting up their favorite onesie because the elf and they misbehave. Like, who does that? This
Like,
is supposed to be a fun tradition.
Yeah, and like a 5-year-old, like, that's too young to be trying to teach lessons with a magical fake elf. The 8-year-old having their face drawn on.
When you put it like that,
Yeah.
like, with trying to teach your kid a lesson with a magical fake elf, like the conceptualization of all that is just like, come on, they're 8
and 9, like,
8,
oh,
9,
I'm
and
sorry,
5.
like the magic of
Yeah,
Christmas is
8, 9,
still
and
there.
5.
Like, they probably still believe in Santa, all of them, right? What 8 you're in second grade typically.
Yeah,
9th
somewhere
you're
in there.
third grade. I'm not quite sure like when you stop believing in Santa, but I don't know. That's crossing some lines, especially with your 5-year-old and like having at that kid's birthday. Who cares if he's a kid of Christmas? Like, how do you separate that child's birthday to make them feel special and then still have Christmas? Like,
Yeah.
that's how you make that birthday special.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Where it doesn't just get wrapped in to Christmas. Oh, great, Christmas, and you guys forget about my birthday. No, like that was how you made it feel special. Miles is a douche. I don't like Miles. Me and Miles, we wouldn't be friends.
I am pleasantly surprised. I thought you were gonna be maybe a little Team Miles over here, like, oh
No, I've seen the TikToks where like I have seen like clothing like cut up or whatever. And like if it's just some random pair of jammies or whatever that have been cut up, who cares? But while the kid is wearing them to sleep and they obviously like that pair, that's a little far for me. I've seen the ones where they like take a Barbie and it was Sprinkles Tattoo Shop and like now a Barbie is all like Sharpied and tattooed and drawn on. Like, again,
yeah.
if it's not their favorite Barbie, then who cares? Or if it was maybe a new Barbie that you went and bought, like, oh, this will be fun. Now you'll have a tattooed Barbie. But yeah, I don't think Elf on the Shelf, I don't think the elf should become naughty if you're being naughty. Like the elf is supposed to report back to Santa, right? And say, hey, you guys weren't being good. The whole thing is to make your kids be good, not naughty. I don't know.
Well, it really shouldn't be used as a disciplinarian tool, which it seems like that's what they're doing here is, oh, this is how we're going to discipline here. And it seems like, yeah, Miles, the dad, is getting way too much pleasure out of his kids suffering a little bit. Like, poor kids. I don't know.
There's
Not
some
into
trauma
it.
there that Miles needs to address.
Yeah. And I wonder like what that
Serious.
No, but that I was gonna say, like, I think there are some people that get joy out of like having power over others or making others feel bad. To terrorize your own children, how sick are you? And it kind of begs the question of like, okay, well, what did he go through as a child to even find this acceptable?
Why would you ruin a perfectly good cake?
That's what I want to know. The
I bet
things
it was good too.
the things I would do for a cake right now. And that is something really, like, you make a really good point, because I think, like, I have a friend who his birthday is on the 26th. And so like Christmas for him has always like trampled over his birthday. And people that have birthdays close, like, it's like, well, I'm just getting you one present. It's Christmas and birthday, versus like anyone else with another birthday, a different time of the year, gets a very separate, just a very different experience. And so I think you do make a point where it's like, yeah, he's born on the 24th. So how do you make that special? And it's not like the other kids aren't getting included in the special Christmas experiences either.
Yeah.
Like, it's for the whole family, but like Andy's a kid of Christmas and like Santa knows him a little more maybe because they share that day. Like, that's cute. Like, I don't know. I think it's weird that he came in and was like, you're not considering the other kids, and tried to like guilt trip her for that.
Yeah. And I'm all for having fun. Like, if the kids are on board, like, you know what? We got a naughty elf. And like, if it becomes like something funny or fun with the kids, oh, what did Bob do today?
Well, naughty elf, like, I think of that and it's like, oh, he went and unrolled the toilet paper roll, or he spilled the marshmallows, or, you know, he's not vindictive in cutting up clothing and
little
destroying
chocolate chip
cakes and
poops.
birthdays. And like, that's just too far.
Yeah. Too far.
So weird.
Took it to the extreme, and I'm not for that. I would never try to make my children that upset, especially on their birthday. Like, that's, I don't know.
No.
It's like a special thing, right?
Yeah.
The kid's 5, going 6. I don't know.
It's weird. We have some edits.
Oh boy.
So the first one, edit. Hi, everyone. So the response has been really overwhelming. I'm sorry if it took me some time to answer. I was kind of avoiding the post since I was conflicted by the possible outcome. I'm going through all of your comments so I can answer some of your questions. I'd also explain things you all have doubts in common. Number 1, Andy's dad is from Canada. He visits Andy every spring, summer, and on Christmas break. This year, he stayed for his job, so he isn't an absent parent. 2, after Andy's birthday, I told Miles to get out of the house, and so he did. He spent Christmas with my in-laws, I stayed with the kids, and all of them slept in Andy's room. My kids didn't want to leave his brother alone. The next morning, we opened the gifts, and I made sure that Andy could feel special after what happened on his birthday. So I wrote a note from Bob saying that he is sorry if I scared him and his siblings. He didn't do his job correctly, so now he would be flying back to the North Pole with Santa. And when he asked if Santa still remembered the kid of Xmas, he did. Santa was really happy to see him. That makes you want to cry.
She did a great
Good
job.
mom.
Yeah.
And what a great mom. Yeah.
Number 3, my kids and I are okay. We are sleeping at my parents' house, and we would celebrate New Year's Eve here too. Number 4, yes, Claire was using the onesie while she was sleeping. My husband took the idea out of TikTok. And no, Andy did nothing to be attacked by Bob.
It's a pretty big fight considering that they're still sleeping in separate houses at New Year's. And like, oh, I wonder, I'd be really curious to know if there's like other marital things going on beyond that. To
Yeah.
be like, this is just a stupid elf, right? And it was a stupid idea. Like the husband should be like, hey, you're right. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think he should call his wife an asshole either. Like, just something seems not right here as to why they're so separated 5 or 6 days after the fact.
This might have just been like the inkling where she's like, no, he's done other things to our kids where it's like, Andy didn't want to get in the pool, so instead he pushed him or like something like that. So
The bullying,
maybe,
Yeah,
the bullying. And
Power
so,
tactics,
that's what I
kind of
want to
like
know.
you brought up.
And
yeah, we
if-
don't have any other comments from OP. The edits and those points are all we get from her, but I am really curious about that. I think there's definitely more going on.
Seems like a big reaction. Like, I feel like if that were to happen, we would just go into our private room and talk it out and be like, hey, yeah, that you took it too far. And even if you disagreed, you'd respect my opinion and be like, okay, well, we'll dial it back or, come to some sort of resolution.
Yeah. The top comment on this one is not the asshole, but Jesus, there's something wrong with your husband.
Yes.
He wanted Andy to do something wrong so he could punish him. Things like destroying their clothes is not a prank, it's a punishment. Your husband is hazing your children.
How about holy cow? You didn't do anything wrong, Andy. Like, you get a really sweet gift. Santa noticed how good you were.
That's like the whole incentive.
Nobody asks for their kids to be bad. That's weird. That's weird.
Well, and the thing is
Yes.
like, if you're going to use this elf, like you can use it in a really good way where it's a tool, right? You'll get extra presents from Santa if you're really good all month, like Jolly or Jingle or whatever the fuck the elf's name is. He's watching. Bob is watching. But then to use it as like a punishment, especially when your kids don't do anything wrong, what's the incentive to even be good? And like this next couple comments, like they really kind of like hit the nail on the head for me too. They go, he destroyed a 5-year-old's favorite pajamas because she touched a doll. That's not punishment. It's bullying. And the next person goes like star abuse. That's not just bullying. It's psychological, emotional abuse. And that's really scary. Like
Right.
when you think about it, and like you have to realize something with your kids. And like there's kind of this debate about where like a lot of parents are like, I'm not giving my kids Santa Claus because when they find out Santa Claus isn't real, that trust that they had in me, we're breaking it. Like I'm holding up this whole lie and this whole illusion. And when my kids find out Santa's not real, what do they think of me and our relationship and the trust that we have? And I think of this, like going forward, these kids are 9, 8, and 5. 9 and 8 are really close to finding out that this isn't real.
Right.
And so what do these kids do when they find out my dad literally cut my fucking pajamas and drew all over my face? It wasn't Bob. It was my dad.
Well, hopefully they think that's messed up, but honestly, they probably won't because it's their dad. And they'll grow up with this misperception of what love is and what it isn't.
Yeah,
and so that's
and that's
even
another
worse
thing.
and more dangerous, I think, because then that's the relationship that they're going to perpetuate, and other people are not going to stand for that because that's unacceptable behavior.
It's not that the dad doesn't love those kids, but like when you're talking about how they perceive love and what love is, like the dad could still love those kids, right? And just be making some very poor choices.
Well, absolutely. And that's probably why he's doing it, because maybe his
Perception of what love is based on,
parents or like pranksters that were not kind or
Yeah.
whatever. But
I'm not sticking up for Miles, but
No, but
that out there.
I do really agree with that, because I think a lot of people, you know, when they're in abusive relationships, especially on Reddit, they'll be like, hey, this is the example you're setting for your kids, watching you go through this experience. And it's like, you're demonstrating that this is love. Like,
Right.
love is getting yelled at. Love is getting hit. Love is mean. Love is bad. Love is vindictive. Love is all these other things. And you're demonstrating that to your kids. And so I think there is something to be said about that, where he's demonstrating to his kids that it's okay to bully. It's okay to do this stuff. And it's a risky game to play.
Again, I'm going to go back. There's nothing wrong with a prank or a joke.
I
It's
hate
just-
pranks. Fuck pranks.
Oh,
Hate 'em.
lies.
I hate
You
'em.
just have to good-natured
like
joking.
So I'm very picky about the pranks I like.
like
very
when,
picky.
Like somebody, like you're out in the barn and you're coming out the door and like
Don't you
Justin,
dare.
like, "Ah!"
Nope. Dead. Dead. That's
Yeah,
not a
that's-
fun one.
That's funny.
A fun prank is like being like, oh, Morgan, your shoes, they accidentally got covered in mud, but here's a new pair. Ah, like I want like presents for pranks.
Something wrong with your idea of what a prank is.
I don't like pranks.
We took this in a odd direction from
I
where
think
I
it
thought
was,
it was going to go.
I think it was exactly where it was supposed to go.
It was good. I agree.
Okay, moving along.
Moving along.
We'll get Havoc up here at some point. I'll get a treat.
Hi, Booty. Are you camera shy? Come here.
Come on.
Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on. Oh, good boy. Oh, good boy.
Panicked. Look at the panic in those eyes.
Look at the love. Look at the love. Oh, good boy.
Nobody can see him.
You can't see. They can see him.
He's hiding.